My name is Keisha the Maestro, media personality, director of programs or AP at Vibes 94.5 FM Lagos. I'm on Afrobeat Battle.
So my name is Everblazing. I am an on-air personality and the head of digital media at 94.5 Vibes FM Lagos. And I'm on Afrobeat Battle on NoireTV.
I think almost every single one of us noticed the video when he came out with his first single, which is called Back When. The story then, which is pretty sad, which is pretty wrong. Well, everybody was talking about his billionaire status, about how there's this young kid on the block who has a rich father, and the song is making the rounds because he has a rich father. But the fact is, and he has proven that for so long now, it was a quality song. The song had latency on it. The beat was banging. It's still one of my favorite Davido songs till now. Yeah, that's Back When, right? And the latency verse, which was a bit soft, and but you had to notice him immediately. The energy, the willingness, the fact that he wanted to do it. It wasn't just about his father's money. It's not his fault that he had that or that he has that, but he wanted to do more than just be out there. He had a passion for music, and you had to notice. Back When is still one of my favorite Davido songs, and that was a moment that all of us knew that something big was about to happen. Then I think when Damage Road came out also, that just stepped it up a notch. And so for Davido, it's never been in question that he will be where he is. It was always bound to happen from the first.
Probably the first time I watched him was when I saw the video of the song Holla at Your Boy. Young, fresh kid riding on a bicycle in a class with students of people. Amazing video. That's the first time I heard him, and that was like the journey to the greatness that we have witnessed over the past 10 years. Fresh, different from what we have heard. It was always Two-Face and D'banj at the time. I was growing up at the time. I think Wizkid is about 30 now. It was amazing to hear someone different from everybody. So I am not shocked that he has achieved this much in the industry from what I heard from the first single, Holla at Your Boy.
It's pretty difficult to say that this particular song is Davido's breakthrough song. I think the song that made him part of the culture, that made him an enigma, was I think it was Skelewu. I think Skelewu was that dance that I could never do. The beat that it just showed that he could. The young man could do anything he wanted to do when he wanted to do anything. For me, I think that was the time that he crossed that line, like from being Davido to being Davido. So that was a song for me. But it's hard. It's Davido. It's Davido. Come on. How do you pick a song? Yeah.
Superstar album, but I mean, the moment we heard Holla at Your Boy, we knew that we had a superstar on the rising, and so it wasn't a surprise when he named the album Superstar, and he proved to us that he really is a superstar. Because if you look and discuss about the Nigerian industry, you cannot name a better debut album. Maybe you can talk about Wande Cole, Mushin to More Hits. Maybe you can talk about Fireboys, Laughter, Tears and Goosebumps. But hey, Superstar was a superstar.
It's very hard to put Davido in a box when it comes to his music, and the genre. I think the whole idea of genre has been cancelled out for a long time because this is Nigeria. You can't say somebody does R&B, somebody does this. You can't really anymore. Everybody is supposed to do Afrobeat, or some people tweak it and say Afro house. Some people tweak it and say Afro this. His versatility has always been what shook me the most. We can always make jokes about his voice, the whole frog thing, whatever it is, but he's always found ways to apply it and give us hit song after hit song. And one thing Davido also does that he did at the time, because it's something that people weren't talking about, was songwriting. I think that's when he dropped when he dropped Gobe, there was this particular person that wrote it, and it came out, a lot of people talked about it and all. The fact that he's open-minded enough, he's that type of character. He's open-minded enough, he's okay with it. Like, I like your song, I will pay you to use your song. It's an international practice. There's no sin, there's nothing wrong with somebody writing the song for you. And which is why when you go through his discography, It's very hard. Apart from when he did "If," then the song that came after it, it's very hard for you to put Davido in the box that this is the type of music he does. There's a wide variation when it comes to the type of music that he makes. So you can't really say that he does this style, he does this. I'll just say that Davido, his genre is good music. If the music appeals with him, to him, it goes with it, and he's just made good music after good music, and it's never about a genre. It's not about. He just makes it as it comes to him, and that's the beautiful thing about the type of music that he makes.
So his music is or has always been pop, but he's managed to, move and transcend from what we have known him to be. He has always had an amazing voice. He has always tilted towards dancehall music as well. A lot of patois in his sound and music over the time, reggae infused, but he has always had that element of pop music in his sound, and that's what he has done over the years. But a few years ago, from the Sounds from the Other Side album, he wanted to try out something different, maybe because he was moving to a new market or was trying to sell his music to a newer market. And that's when he started to, delve into what he finally perfected in the new album, Made in Lagos. So he has moved on from the pop guy to someone who sounds really amazing doing R&B music. And I feel like that is because he tried to infuse a lot of reggae music in his sound, a lot of that. Because when you do that, you tend to you get better musically. And I feel like that's what has made him who he is today, and that's what has helped his sound, and he sounds so amazing now.
Okay, when it comes to Davido's personality, it takes me to the first time I met him. I think it was 2013, 2012. I'm not surprised at the person that he has become, and I'm somebody, people that know me know that I'm not just a fan of the type of music that you make. I'm a fan of how do you touch people's lives? What's your personality? How do you add value to other people? How deep are you? How much substance is there to you? And when you look at what Davido has done in the industry, from Mayoko to Aloma, DMW, Davido has made people millionaires. Davido has people that worship him, that are loyal to him. He's somebody that thrives on actually being there for people. Actually, because he has so much. Because really, what are you doing with the money if you can't? The little I have, I try to add value, but you have that much, and I don't think anybody needs to talk too much about his personality. It's there for us to see. We saw what happened on his birthday. All that money came in and he gave everything out to charity. That's Davido for you. He lives to, and he's so humble. Most of Davido's features, he doesn't even charge them. He doesn't charge them. If he likes the song, he will be on the song. He will turn up. Apart from his music, that's why Davido for me will always be up there. I'm a big fan of him as a person.
Music business is like lottery. There's so many artists who have, had the right team, almost everything right for them, and they didn't seem to make any mark in the industry. Wizkid has done amazing for himself. If Wizkid puts you on a song now, you're definitely going to get recognition. It's just really sad that most of the artists that he has put up or he has signed onto his record label have not really made the mark that most people would have thought that they would have made. It's artists that were not really under his label that have been really big. For example, Mr. Easy, who at one time, flagged the Starboy mantra. LAX just seems to be quite comfortable with his, where he is. I'll drop sounds for you. My father is making money already. But Wizkid, I think he's more of an, a private person, and I think we should really love that about him. But as regards artists blowing up, being big names in the industry, I think that's left to God, not Wizkid or even Davido.
The Omo Babolo, the OBO, the Obo album. I think the album had already sold itself out before it even came out because of all the hit songs on it. It was coming together. It was Davido had been out there. He had hit songs like Damage Road. He had hit songs like Back When, and That's the album that Ikura was also on, right? That's where the versatility that we're talking about, how he can touch on everything and how he also respects tradition. It made you realize that this is a young boy, but there's also a man in there. You know, it was a well put together album. It wasn't the most commercially successful album. It didn't have the biggest number of hits out there. It was an album. It wasn't just a collection of hit tracks, and there was a high level of maturity in it for me. I think it was a fabulous album. I just loved the whole idea. It just showed that there's a man in this young boy.
You know, for everybody to just accept that, okay, your album, this album na 10 over 10. Even those who do not even like Wizkid, there's no way that they're not going to accept that. I mean, the album Superstar was 10 over 10. Don't Doll, Scatter the Flow was my favorite song at the moment. Pakurumo, banging tunes all the way from track 1 till the end of the album. And that was a trailblazer. That was a good way to start. It is often really hard to pick up from your debut album, but Wizkid has, you know, done what a lot of other people haven't done before, and that's, you know, being bigger than your first album, or doing things that people think. I mean, when you put out, there's always that second album or second single syndrome for most artists in the industry. A lot of people have fallen short or have, you know, fell off the train after dropping a really solid first album. But he's dropped the first album, and since then he's just been up all the way from there. So he's done amazing things.
When it comes to Georgian fashion and all, I'm a simple person, and but I don't think Davido goes wrong when it comes to fashion. He wears simple stuff. He wears what I see, somebody that wears what works for him when it works for me. He wears a blazer when he feels he should wear a blazer. He'll wear the suit when he feels he should wear it. He wears the t-shirts. He wears the torn jeans. And he's rich. It's very hard for you to really go wrong when it comes to fashion when you're that rich. He can buy anything he wants to buy. He can employ anybody he wants to employ to monitor his wardrobe. He can get any stylist he wants. But what I've just noticed is that Davido keeps it simple when it comes to the fashion sense. For example, when you compare him and Wizkid, if you compare his photo sessions and Wizkid's photo sessions, Wizkid always seems a bit more colorful. Wizkid seems a bit more intent on being the superstar. Davido just does what works for him, which I like, because I'm that type of person. I just, you know, just does what works for him.
I'm really confused about, you know, his sense of style. Sometimes I'm really confused at what he's trying to get to. I don't think it is defined. Sometimes he looks really simple. Sometimes he looks like, I mean, he likes the coat of many colors. But I think there's a stage you get to in your career that whatever you do, people are going to accept it that way. And when you have an army that they don't even care, if Wizkid comes out today and appears like Brimo did in that video, dope. For his videos, looks really nice. For example, the second video of this song that I had, I think the one he had with Drake, Come Closer. I really loved the second one. But most of the time, I see him wearing really nice things. I mean, that's what money can buy. But for his dress sense, he's neither here nor there. So yeah, at least that's not what we can say about his music, which is the most important thing at this point.
Crazy thing about collaborations is I don't think there's a Nigerian artist that has more collaborations than Davido, both with big names and small names. And I think why a lot of the names even go under the radar is because of the small names thing. Then international, the song with Chris Brown is amazing. The song with Popcorn also. Davido is excellent. He's been excellent in almost everything he does, everything he has done in the industry. The songs he's made for himself, his collaborations with other artists, whether he was featured or he featured people, they've always been top notch.
Our collaborations, I think that's where most of the problems has been. Remember a few years ago when Sion said she paid 1.5 million to Wizkid, he dropped the hook and didn't want to show in the video. And as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't seem like a people person, and it doesn't seem like he wants to help on just about every song. He's just particular about himself and what he's trying to sound like. Well, that's local wise, but internationally, he's done great stuff. And most of them have come not, by lobbying. You hear a lot of artists saying they really, like, I want to work with Wizkid. And for his features, the one he has with Beyonce, amazing. What? Can believe with Cranium and Ty Dolla $ign. Woo! The song was just going like this. And then Wizkid just said, no, I'm going to take it to top 5. I mean, he's done well. I think if I was going to rate him at a scale of 10 for his collaborations, locally, maybe I'll give him a 4. Internationally, 8. So he's done really well. International collaborations, awesome stuff. I feel he feels like he has conquered Nigeria and conquered Africa. It's time to pursue Europe. But I mean, collaborations abroad have been really sweet and nice.
I think Davido is still as big as he is, as highly rated as he is. I still think that he's one of the most underrated people of this generation, because it's not just his music, as I always say. It's the music of others. It's how he's added value to others. Okay, if his artist is not in the top 10, there's music from one of his artists that is on another artist's song. There's all these artists are millionaires now because of Davido. He's made too many people millionaires. I think Davido is heavily underrated, mostly because, yes, we know he's had hit songs. You can't count his hit songs, but mainly because of that other thing, the other people around him that should be celebrated as well as he's been celebrated.
Everyone wants to work with Wizkid globally, and that's how much you come from a place and you sound this good. That means there are like 50 more of you, or there are about 5 million, that means for you to come out of that place, there are like tons of people, and that's how, the record deals. Imagine the number of record labels that have started up their companies in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. Imagine the number of the amount of investments that is coming into our music in Africa. And that's because of the successes of people like Wizkid. And so that's his legacy. Legacy of doing music, being the best at it, shutting down a place where sometimes I try to think of it. How does he even see himself? How does he, look at himself and feel? But the legacy is going to last for a long time. The legacy of being one of the finest singers, one of the finest musicians in the history of the Nigerian music industry, because it's an illustrious company. There are a lot of names that you can mention. But when you mention these names, guess who tops the list? Wizkid. That's enough.